Did you know that there are many reasons to use Botox that have nothing
You're
to do
aging
with
so
wrinkles
quickly
or
because
just
you are
migraines?
sucking
It's
out of the
actually a
wrong
really
straws. Let
common
me show you how
Have
to
you heard of the
suck, right?
10-step
These
Korean
new
skincare routine?
straws.
Hey, Margo.
They're glass
Six
straws
bucks.
that literally are just
It's no secret that beauty is everything to us. It determines our confidence, our identity, and the way we're treated. We agonize and obsess over it, so much so that some people are willing to go under the knife and permanently alter their bodies in pursuit of aesthetic perfection. Some spend thousands, others spend millions, some even risk their lives for it. It becomes an obsession, intense, all-consuming, and when something takes up that much space in the mind, it stops being about appearance alone. It becomes about control. This video essay will examine how, in literature, cosmetic surgery and self-alteration functions as a form of control, whether direct or psychological.
Before diving into analysis though, we had to do some digging in our brains to think about some books that speak on cosmetic surgery. After much discussing, we settled on The Hunger Games and The Uglies, but that still didn't give us enough content to film this whole 10-minute video. After talking with the all-knowing Mr. Abreu, he gave us the idea to use the movie Brazil because it correlates very well with our topic. Finally, after a quick little Google search, we also found two other short stories, The Happy Unfortunate and Another Plastic Surgery, that are gonna help support our claims. In The Hunger Games, cosmetic surgery is used as a means of accentuating the class division between capital and district citizens. In fact, it shows the economic power that the rich have over the poor. The readers are shown this when Katniss first meets Caesar Flickaman, and she explains that he hasn't aged in the past 40 years of hosting the Hunger Game interviews. She then goes on to say that they do surgery in the capital to make people appear younger and thinner. In District 12, looking old is something of an achievement since so many people die early. Page 124. This observation she makes comes to show just how little control district citizens have over their own lives in comparison to the rich. Capital citizens change their appearance as a means of entertainment, but the districts don't have time to fuss about such things because they're so focused on survival. By constantly altering their appearance, the wealthy are indirectly displaying just how much power they have, because they have so much money that they can change the way they look whenever they want. The lack of cosmetic surgery in the districts, however, just comes to show how powerless and limited the lower classes are because of their financial limits. This book is a scarily accurate portrayal of today's society. What with the rich getting a bunch of cosmetic surgeries, such as Botox, facelifts, and all of that stuff, while the poor can barely meet their basic needs like food and housing. The Hunger Game uses caricatures of cosmetic surgery to show just how ignorant and economically controlling the capital citizens are over the less fortunate, much like the reality we face today. This book shows how both in reality and in fiction, cosmetic surgery is used as some sort of status symbol to show the control and the power that the wealthy have over the privileged.
Continuing with the theme of dystopia, the Netflix movie The Uglies also tackles the theme of plastic surgery from a political angle. Rather than displaying wealth gaps and political corruption, plastic surgery in this film directly serves to manipulate public thinking and strip away all individuality so that the powerful elite can maintain control. In this movie, society mandates that everyone undergo a surgery at the age of 16 to become a pretty. Although promoted as desirable and necessary, this surgery rewires their brains so that pretties experience what can be only called as cognitive dampening. Rebellious impulses, critical thinking, and any desire to question authority are suppressed. This neurological modification not only ensures that people look the same, but think and feel the same way too. This turns the population compliant, which allows the government to act as a totalitarian regime without pushback. When the main character Tally says the cost of becoming pretty was your mind, she's referring to the trade-off of free thinking that teenagers experience when undergoing this surgery. Like this, cosmetic surgery becomes a tool of direct psychological control that turns free-willed individuals into compliant participants in the system.
The next work we're going to analyze is the movie Brazil from 1985, which is a known movie that serves really well to portray how people are obsessed with cosmetic surgery and enhancements to control their own appearance and control their own nature. This is portrayed in the film by many characters, like the protagonist Sam's mom, who uses cosmetic surgery to enhance her looks and preserve this youthfulness that she is so obsessed with. She's completely terrified of aging in the movie, and then it is portrayed by how many plastic surgery she uses to keep up this fake appearance of herself. Instead of accepting her nature, she keeps attacking it with science and going back for more and more procedures every time. And it also kind of shows the pressure in the movie that social class, because they're in a very high social class in this dystopia, and a lot of pressure is put into women to preserve their beauty and their youthfulness. A second character that in the movie, it personalizes this a lot, but it's like a different aspect of cosmetic surgery and the effects it can have on you, is Mrs. Terrain, who is a character that's so obsessed with being young so that she can attract like younger males as well that are not in her age range, that she keeps going back for cosmetic surgeries, even though it makes it so that her face ends up being really stretched and she's constantly covered up in bandages, suffering the awful side effects of plastic surgery. The producers of the movie came up with these ideas of showing off the side effects that are really nasty of plastic surgery after realizing how bad it was getting in California, where people were like completely obsessing over aesthetics. So the movie criticizes the culture and the values that are behind these cosmetic enhancements that are used to unnaturally control your aesthetics, leading to these awful side effects.
Plastic surgery is also used to control the way groups interact. For example, in our society, women feel strong pressure to engage in beauty practices so as to avoid being seen as older women. This is because the old face increasing social exclusion because they are seen as frail and undesirable. Thus, by getting cosmetic surgery done, they will be able to rejoin social life and will no longer be associated with their elderly acquaintances. We can observe this phenomenon in literature, such as in The Happy and Fortunate by Robert Silverberg. In this story, there are two types of people, Earthers and Spacers. Earthers are the ones who get cosmetic surgery done, making them appear more frail and fragile than the Spacers, who are stronger and taller. This difference in appearance created a divide between the two, which led them to never interact. For example, the Earthers live in York and the Spacers live in Spacertown, and even though there are 3 bridges which connect the two places, they're unused except by spacers who are going home or going to the spaceport. Additionally, cosmetic surgery also affects the way Earthers interact with each other, as there are 2 types of physically modified Earthers. There are the conforms who get plastic surgery done so they can conform to the prevailing beauty standards. They all look identical with the same features and look like dolls. The Earthers which look more unique are called individs. They are all different, with some having jewels in their foreheads, no lips, no hair, extra eyes, or 3 nostrils. These 2 groups rarely interact even if they're in proximity, as Rolf, the main character, said that when he was at a party, he saw at one end of the hallway a giant cluster of conforms, while at the other end of the hallway he saw a group of individs.
Go.
This statement proves that in The Happy and Fortunate, physical alterations serve as a social separator and controls the dynamics between different groups.
In the short story, Another Plastic Surgery, beauty procedures are portrayed as a powerful form of control, as it depicts the psychological chokehold that unattainable beauty standards can have on an individual. The story follows a woman undergoing yet another plastic surgery, which she believes will finally satisfy her. During the procedure, the narrator reveals insights into her thoughts, revealing just how deeply her sense of self has been impacted by external standards. Afterwards, as she gets up to examine herself, she focuses on perceived flaws rather than improvements, showcasing that her desire for perfection has not been reached. This moment highlights how unattainable the standards imposed on her really are, trapping her in an endless cycle of self-criticism. This demonstrates that plastic surgery does not resolve insecurity, making it feel like a never-ending battle. In this way, plastic surgery in this story fuels a constant desire for more and dictates how the main character perceives herself. In conclusion, beyond altering one's appearance, cosmetic surgery in literature serves as a tool of control. It enforces social hierarchies, traps people in endless self-criticism, and suppresses individuality. Together, these works of fiction force us to reflect on how much mental space we give self-image and how it can quietly govern us without knowing.